Alright,
there's four
thumbs
thumbs
and
and thinks we're weird.
We do!
Hi, welcome to another episode 2 of Kitty and Panda sewing class. Today we are going to be needing our pattern, some tracing paper, tracing wheels, 2 types. I have a straight one and one that gives out dotted lines. You're going to need 2 different types for marking different markings on your pattern. A pair of scissors, obviously your fabric, and an iron.
Use that to straighten your hair today.
Yes, Panda. One key thing to remember is a little piece of information that I bet most people don't know is that you can iron tracing paper and tissue paper. Sorry, not tracing paper, tissue paper. And we'll be showing you how to do that. Make sure you keep it at a low heat because you want to make sure you get all of those wrinkles and creases out of the pattern so that you can make sure you get a nice flat pattern onto your fabric. And with that, let's get started. Alright, first step is you're going to want to pull out your pattern pieces and the instructions. Instructions are always welcome. Wrong one. And we're making, which top was it again, Panda? B, right? Long sleeve? Alright. And we want to find out, you want to come in here, Panda? We want to find out what pieces we're going to be needing for this. Top B, it says we need pieces 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So pieces 1 through 5. Got it? Okay. Don't lose this one because we'll need to know how to lay it out on the fabric. Also, you need to know what the length of your fabric is. It looks like we'll be following the 45 width. 45 inches. Fabric comes in different widths. It's folded in half, so you just measure down one side and double it. So that goes from fold to selvage edge. Selvage edge is like an unfinished edge. See how it's a little frilly here, or frayed? It's unfinished. You don't want that showing up in your finished product. Now we're going to pull out the pattern pieces. They come all nicely folded like this. And we find out where our pieces are. Make sure you have a nice wide working area. I like to use one looks like a kitchen table with both pieces in to make it as long as I can. I did forget to mention some other supplies you need are pins.
What kind of pins? Just straight pins, right?
Straight pins. Once you start finding your pieces, you're going to want to cut around them. And I say around by always leaving a little bit of tissue paper left so you're not right on the lines, because otherwise you can mess up your pattern, how wide you need it to be. Alright, now that all our pieces are cut and trimmed, we're going to iron. Make sure you keep it at a low heat, no steam. So I'm going up to 3, which is the last one before steam, because we want it to be warm enough, warm enough to take out the creases, but not hot enough to, wet enough to
ruin
the pattern. And you just want to go, you kind of wiggle and work your way out. You may have to pull and stretch a little bit. Make sure you follow along the initial creases and folds and work your way towards the edges. Welcome back. We have our pieces all ironed as you can see, and I've already started laying out our fabric. We want to pull out those instructions again. Again, we're following tops A and B. In this case, we're following top B. And we have, like I said before, 40, well, ours is 40 inches, but we're going to follow the 45 because that's the closest. We need to start off with piece 2 and put it against the fold. Now in this case, if you see here on pattern piece number 2, it says center, back, on, fold. So in this, if we're making it like the pattern says, we want to center that on the fold. First though, in this one, we have to cut here. It says to shorten, fold along this line, or to lengthen, cut along dotted line. So it wants us to cut here like that to make it longer. We want to also measure out 5 inches down. Try to keep your fabric flat. And that's 5 inches. Now again, we need to double check our measurements over here. Alright, now I have most of the pattern pieces, I have all the pattern pieces pinned. We're going to pull out the tracing paper. Now keep in mind the color of the fabric is yellow, so I do not want to use yellow tracing paper on top of yellow fabric. It just won't show. White is going to be too light also against this light yellow. So I have a choice to go between like a pale pink or a blue. I think the pink is a little bit more covered. Now this is tracing paper is kind of filled with a chalky substance on there, and if you kind of rub your fingers across it, you can turn your fingers different colors. Mine's a little bit on the pink side. It's kind of hard to tell though. Yeah, careful where you wipe it too. But it'll wash off. That's why we use it. What we're going to do is we're going to slide the paper underneath.
Chalk side down.
Chalk side down. And just kind of hold it there. We're making this under the extra large, so we're going to be following the outer lines. In this case, I want to use the straight edge. And it's a nice little wheel, it spins.
Like a pizza cutter.
Yeah. And
except don't use a pizza cutter. Get
no.
The real thing.
And you just want to start tracing it. You kind of have to keep it straight as possible.
You can go back and forth.
Yes, you can go back and forth, but we don't really need to in this case. See how nice the line is turning out? This way we can save the pattern if we want to reuse it. Move this up a little bit. Now we've come up to something here. It's called a notch. And see how it points in? Well, if we point it in, we're going to cut into our fabric. We don't want to do that. So we're going to draw that little notch going out. So we have a little notch going out. That way you can cut it out, and it's to help you match up with other pieces. In this case, since we're working on a sleeve here tracing, I'll give you a little heads up here. This notch here should be matching up with this notch over here once we get to that. Double notches are used to match up with different parts of the pattern. And you can draw these out individually. I like to just make them as one big notch triangle with a flat top. Alright, welcome back. Now all of this pinning and tracing has taken me roughly about a half an hour. It may take you longer if you're not used to doing all this. Again, make sure you measure twice so you only have to cut once, because fabric can get expensive. Now I've done all my tracing and I've removed my pins, so last up here I'm going to get this out of the way.
Careful, that iron is still hot.
And also I have some like chalk pencils or colored pencils in a way, dressmaker's marking pencils. I got a package of 3, blue, pink, and white. I'm using blue just because it's easier. And this was piece number 2, so I do want to make sure I label it. I have done that with the other pieces already. Now keep in mind though, I know we said we needed pieces 1 through 5. Panda has decided to forego the contrast because it would still be the same color. We're just going to do basic seams around the neck and at the waist and the edge of the sleeves, or hems. Sorry, basic hems. We may do a little decorative stitching just depending on what mood we're in. I like to do decorative stitching. But we're going to go ahead and cut. Cutting, I like with the folded pieces, I like to start at the fold and work my way around. Make sure you have a good sharp pair of scissors. These are starting to get a little old. I am going to need to get these sharpened, but they're still giving me a nice clean cut. You don't want any frays happening because your scissors get stuck. We're all done with the cutting, tracing and cutting, and we put our pattern pieces away. We've got our pieces all cut. Numbers 1, 2, and 4. Since we're foregoing the contrast, since we only have one color, it doesn't really make sense to do that. Again, Pandas decide not to, and we're just going to do some basic hems. I'll show you how to do that. Maybe we'll do some decorative stitching. Otherwise, that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Panda.
Huh?
Say bye, Panda.
Bye!
Russ, ready to go to the Ren Fair.
But we have all this stuff in no pockets. What are we gonna do?
I have an idea. Look what I made.
Great, those will work great.
Let's go.